When Roman Reigns returned to Smackdown this month, a lot of people had high expectations for it because, well, it was a pretty boring show post-WrestleMania, and Monday Night Raw has been firing on all cylinders. So today we're going to go show by show, piece by piece, and really break down why Raw is so successful and why Smackdown just seems floundering. Even with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, the two biggest stars, Raw is more well-rounded, and the better stories are carrying it to be a better television program, and here's why. First, let's take a look at the World Championship scenes on both shows. First up, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens on SmackDown. This is going to be fire. It started out timid on SmackDown, I will admit that, but they're going to flesh the hell out of this, and it will just get so good in the weeks to come. I'm super excited for what they're going to really just flesh out in terms of the story, where Kevin's going to say, well, I helped you for months, and where's my ROI, my return on investment? And, Cody's going to be like, here it is, here's your championship. And I'm hoping for that Kevin Owens heel turn. He's always entertaining as a heel. I'm really looking forward to the SmackDown World title scene in these coming months, especially with Roman and The Rock on the horizon. On Raw right now, it is Randy Orton versus Gunther, in a match that I think will be match of the night in Berlin, because it was awesome at King of the Ring, and I'm very excited to see what they can do with the main course of this rivalry, but I think it is a little half-baked. I don't know where they could go in terms of story devices. They don't have history apart from, Randy didn't get pinned, so I see this just being a very good match and a good start to a good reign for Gunther, but after that, I don't know what comes next, but SmackDown's world title scene is where it is at right now. That is a point for Friday Night SmackDown. The mid-card scenes are up next, and there is a clear divide in both shows. SmackDown with LA Knight as U.S. champion has a lot of potential. The guy was born to wear that belt, but as your first feud, Santos Escobar really going to make me want to watch TV? Heck no. But Andrade and Carmelo Hayes are just bright spots in this division that lacks depth, in my opinion. You don't have much, because most of SmackDown is concentrated on another portion of the show, which we'll get to later. On Raw, it's Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker. That's the feud. That's the direction we are going. And seeing what they did in NXT, they're going to make magic again. The only problem with that is we've seen it like 5 times already. We've seen Dragunov and Breaker on Raw tons. So where are they going to go? That's a great question for WWE. But nonetheless, I think that Raw has great potential with the mid-card with guys like Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, Sheamus. It's just the meat division. It is big guys hitting each other with big strikes, and it's so entertaining to watch. Raw has the strong mid-card at this time because they're just more fleshed out in their 3 hours, so the point here goes to Raw. Triple H has really struggled to build a good tag team division while he's been in creative control, but I think on SmackDown it's in a good place right now. It's run by the Bloodline. Their Ace Story, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu, and he's healthy, but Tonga, look at this, man. It's aura right there. But then you got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory who are heading towards the breakup. DIY are just awesome in ring. The Street Profits look to be the new #1 contenders. And then you got Pretty Deadly who are just awesome, and they're looking towards the musical. But on Raw, it's pretty fine. The Judgment Day are still tag team champions somehow. I don't think it's in any way, shape, or form adding to their characters, as until they meet the guys that are gonna try and meet down the line. But the tag team division it's mid right now. It currently consists of American Made, who I'm huge fans of. You got the AOP and the New Day, who are having their feud together. And then you've got Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, who I think are the next tag team champions. They're going to go over to SmackDown holding those belts after they've been reunited, and I'm looking forward to it. But overall, I think SmackDown is just so good. We saw them put on their #1 contenders gauntlet match, and I was wildly entertained by that. And I think it's only up from here on the SmackDown tag team division. So this point goes to SmackDown. Next up, the women's divisions, both who I'm thinking, they can be used a little better. Nia Jax is the champion currently on SmackDown after a great match with Bayley at SummerSlam. She's currently in the feud with Tiffany Stratton, Miss Money in the Bank, who's obviously going to turn on her. Right now, there's no creative direction for either of them. It seems that Chelsea Green is next, and I think she'll interrupt next Friday's celebration. Then, on Raw, it's one of the best stories in all of wrestling right now. It's not PG, but it's very entertaining. Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and then you got Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom. I really like the entertainment value. I think it's been a very well-worked story, well-paced, and we've gotten this new Judgment Day that I think is awesome. Even though the women's division isn't being used a lot, the story it's in is more than enough for me to give this point to Monday Night Raw. I'll give them credit, WWE is really trying to use the women's tag titles a lot more, and they did a good job with the big crowning moment of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, but then once they got back on weekly TV, they've just really been struggling. On SmackDown, all they have is Bianca and Jade, even though they are big stars, it's just not enough to build a division, and on Raw, there's not much either. Damage Control, the Pure Fusion Collective, and the Party Girls are all they have, but it's more than enough, because, on SmackDown, there's just one team. Even though I do think Bianca and Jade are gonna win, Raw is the more depth. It's given more screen time, and the matches are much better, so Monday Night Raw gets to this point as well. And now for the big story, and each brand not revolving around the championship. On SmackDown, it is the Bloodline. Roman Reigns' return at SmackDown was awesome. He just destroyed the Bloodline after a pretty good SummerSlam return as well. I'm very invested in this story, and I think we're going to get a great War Games match, and Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania will be insane. But we move on to Raw, where I think they are just cooking with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. It's the best thing on television. It has been since the Rumble. It's just given more screen time than the Bloodline, who normally just close the show out with a 10-minute segment. And you look at Raw, and these guys are getting multiple backstage segments, and in-ring segment, and maybe even a match every single week, which is helping them flesh out their story. It's adding more layers. It's just making it much more enjoyable, and that's why Punk McIntyre Rollins, it's the best story of the year. This point goes to Raw. 3 years ago, you'd be crazy for saying that Raw is a very enjoyable 3-hour show, but it just is now. A great world title scene, a phenomenal mid-card, and a tag team division helped up by a story that everyone likes is just really carrying it, and the 3 hours fly by. Whereas on SmackDown, even with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, there's not a defined top babyface, a defined top heel, and everything just kind of falls flat. SmackDown needs to move to 3 hours, and Raw should stay where it is because it's so enjoyable. You don't even feel the 3 hours. SmackDown needs to give more time to everyone around the card. The tag division is awesome, but it just doesn't get enough time to shine like it would on Raw. So that's my thoughts. What do you think on the current states of Raw and SmackDown? Be sure to leave a comment down below while you're at it. Like, subscribe, we're on the road to 101 subscribers. Check out our website, section101.org, and our Instagram for updates on our content. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.